Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hopes you all will be fine. Today we will discuss a new topics which are history of PLC, PLC styles and PLC parts. This is lecture 5 of week 3. You can access this PDF and video at portal.sood.edu.pk. Switching to the next slide. Before going to discuss today's topic, we should review the previous lecture. We have studied about AND or lamp circuit. In that circuit we have discussed about Boolean expression of AND or lamp circuit, ladder diagram of AND or lamp circuit, or AND lamp circuit, Boolean expression of OR and lamp circuit, ladder diagram of OR and lamp circuit. So these were the few topics which we have discussed in earlier lecture. So we will switch to the next slide. Today we will discuss these topics, and the objective of this lecture are a brief history. We will discuss a brief history of PLC. The second objective is availability of PLC, programmable logic controller. PLC is available in different form. The first form is single board style PLC. The second one is showbox style PLC. The third one is modularized PLC. And the third objective of this lecture is parts of modularized PLC, in which we will discuss about rack. What is rack? We will discuss about power supply module of PLC, CPU central processing unit module of PLC, I/O module of PLC, programming device which are used for programming of PLC. So these are the few objectives which we will discuss today. Switching to the next slide. So this slide is about a brief history of PLC. As we know that earlier machine was controlled by mechanical devices such as cams, gears, levers and other basic mechanical devices. In earlier control system, the people was used to control the machines using cams, gears, levers and other basic mechanical devices. Complexity increases in large sophisticated control system. Due to the usage of mechanical devices, the complexity in the circuit was increases in that control system, and that control system was very sophisticated. These systems require wired relay and switch control elements and was designed for specific control operation. Manufacturing systems often need modification in control operation. It was very difficult to modify a control circuit in industry by using mechanical devices such as cams, gears, levers and other mechanical switches. It was very difficult to change wiring again in wired relay and switch control elements in a system. Hardwired relay and switch logic was cumbersome and time-consuming to modify. So it was very difficult in that time. In that time, the engineers or the plant managers, they used the mechanical devices to control the circuit, which was very difficult. It needs complexity. So switching to the next slide. In this slide you can see the mechanical devices. So the left side is about cam and follower. So this is the pictorial diagram of cam and follower. Here you can see the cam, the circular shape is cam, and the vertical device is called follower. When this device rotates at this point, the distance between this point and this point is decreased. So if we rotate the cam like in this direction, so the distance between follower and this point will increase. So we will get the linear motion up and down by moving the cam in clockwise. So this is the pictorial diagram of cam and follower, which is a mechanical device and used in industries and factories. In the right side of slide, you can see the pictorial diagram of gears. These are two gears. The left gear is called driver and the second one is called driven. As you see, the motion of A gear, which is driver, and the motion of B gear, which is called driven, these motions are in opposite direction. If we move gear A like in this direction in anti-clockwise, the gear B will move in the clockwise direction. So if we start gear driver A and driven B in this direction and this one is in this direction, when it become finished, it will look like this. The rotation of B driven gear will be like this and the motion of driver A will be like this. Here you can see the opposite direction. The A gear moves in the anti-clockwise and the B gear moves in the clockwise. When it is finished, you can see the motion of driver A, which is in the anti-clockwise, and the direction of B is in the same direction, which is in the clockwise direction. But the position of B here will change like this. Here you can see the B text is in the upper direction and here you can see the B position is in the lower direction. It is because of their motion in the clockwise direction, which is rotated by means of driver A. So these are the two mechanical devices which were used in the earlier plant control system. So we will switch to the next slide. Rewiring was required for a small problem or new modification in a control operation for new product addition. In earlier systems, when plant engineer or plant manager require some modification in the control system. So it was very difficult because all system will be rewired due to new modification requirement. The second point is PLC provided an easy way to reprogram the wiring rather than actually rewiring the control system. So if we use PLC instead of mechanical devices, it is very easy to reprogram the wiring for the control system. It was very difficult to program a PLC at that time. At that time, it was very difficult to program a PLC because no experts were available to program the controller for specific application in the control industry. Highly trained programmers were required for programming PLC. Older PLCs were designed to handle only discrete inputs. The older PLC that were used in that time was only capable to accept only discrete inputs, which means older PLCs can work to accept only the data from switches or push buttons or from discrete sensors. PLCs of nowadays can perform complex mathematical functions. As we know that today manufacturing is very complex and very advanced. So to perform very advanced application, we often use mathematical function. Now the PLCs used today, they are capable to perform complex mathematical functions. Manufacturing are developing their own version of ladder logic program language used to program PLC. Nowadays, manufacturing are trying to write their own ladder logic program which have own syntax for programming. Ladder logic is a program which are used to control the control circuits in industry, and it is often used in PLC. So these are the few points which are related to the history of PLC. Now we will switch to the next slide. Here you can see the single board or open frame style PLC. We know that PLC is available in different forms. The first form is in single board or open frame style PLC. Here this is the picture of single board or open frame style PLC. Here you can see the chip, and these are the input of PLC, and this block is the output of PLC. The chip or the CPU and memory can control the input and output of the single board or open frame style PLC. Here we can connect single board or open frame style PLC to the computer. This is a socket by which we can interface the PC with this PLC, which is open frame. These PLCs are self-contained in a PCB. Here you can see that this is a PCB in which different devices are mounted on PCB. PCB means printed circuit board. Here you can see the printed circuit board on which these chips, this socket, this capacitor and resistor are mounted on PCB. So that's why it is called single board or open frame style PLC. These PLCs can be mounted inside a control cabinet. If you visit the industry, you can see different control cabinet in industry. So these PLCs can be mounted inside the control cabinet in order to save it from dust. These PLCs are not expandable. We cannot expand this PLC. It means that we cannot connect extra input and output to this single board or open frame style PLC. Using these type of PLCs, system designer should take care of inputs, outputs and future modification. So it is very necessary for the system designer to count first we, count first the inputs outputs of the single board or open frame style PLC, because we cannot modify the input and output of the PLC. So it is very necessary for the designer to count input and output of the control system. These PLCs are inexpensive, easy to program, small and consume less power. Single board or open frame style PLC are very inexpensive. They are available at low cost price. These PLCs are very easy to program for specific control application. The size of this PLC is small and it consumes very low power or less power. One of the disadvantages of these PLCs are their limited IOs. IOs mean input output. So this portion is the input and this portion or module is called output and memory. So in single board or open frame style PLC, the input and output are very limited, and as well the memory used with CPU, central processing unit. Switching to the next slide. Shoebox style PLC. So here you can see the pictorial diagram of shoebox style PLC. These PLCs are housed in a single case. Here you can see these PLC are housed in a single case. So PLC is inside the single case. Here you can see the case, the mounted case. These PLCs are chosen according to their memory and voltage required for I/O input output to suit the control application. It is very necessary for the designer to count first the input and output and the memory used for control application in order to control circuit. These PLCs possesses expansion port for specialized units to connect, such as high-speed counters, analog IOs units or discrete IOs. These PLC can be expandable and we can connect high-speed counters. Analog input IOs means we can connect pressure IO and temperature input device to the input of shoebox style PLC. These additional units can be plugged directly or connected through ribbon cable. We can use additional module with this PLC with the help of ribbon cable. Switching to the next slide. Modularized PLC. Modularized PLC is the third type of PLC which is available in the market. Here you can see the pictorial diagram of modularized PLC. Here you can see the schematic diagram of modularized PLC. Here you can see the power supply module which is connected to the input module. So this is the input module and this one is the output module. Here you can see the switch which is normally open, and this switch is normally closed, and this switch is normally open, and this switch is also normally closed. In the output module you can see the symbol of solenoid, you can see the symbol of a motor, you can see the symbol of light, you can see the symbol of speaker or buzzer. So these devices has been connected with the output module of PLC, and these are the input which has been connected with the input module of PLC. So these two modules, input module and output module, has been connected to the power supply module of PLC, and power supply module has also connected with the central processing unit. Here you can see the two portions. The first portion is about central processing unit and the second one is the memory unit. In memory we can program for the PLC and data can be saved in memory. So CPU has been connected with the computer through cable. By means of programming device we can program modularized PLC. Here you can see the picture of modularized PLC. We will switch to the next slide. Modularized PLC consists of rack, power supply module, central processing unit module, input output I/O module, operator interface for programming and monitoring. So here you can see the power supply. In the next slide you can see power supply module. The next one is central processing unit. This one is the central processing unit. Input output module. This is the input module and this one is the output module, and operator interface for programming and monitoring. So here you can see the programming device which can be used for programming and monitoring of data. Data may be in the form of digital form or analog form. We will switch to the next slide. Rack. What is rack? Rack modules plug into rack. We know that there are several modules which can be connected to the PLC, and these modules can be plugged into a rack. When it is plugged into a rack, it makes an electrical connection with a series of contacts called the backplane, located at the rear of the rack. PLC processor CPU central processing unit module is also connected to the backplane and can communicate with all the modules in the rack. We will switch to the next slide. Here you can see the pictorial diagram of power supply module. So these are the power supply module in which several modules has been connected in order to complete the power to the PLC. The power supply supplies DC power to other modules that plug into the rack. If we connect several modules into the rack, we should supply the power to that module. For large PLC systems, this power supply does not normally supply power to the field devices. If there is a large industry in which large PLC system has been connected, so we will provide a separate power supply for the field devices. Field devices may be input, field devices may be output. With larger systems, power to field devices is provided by external alternating current or direct current supplies. For some small micro PLC systems, the power supply may be used to power field devices. We can provide power supply to small micro PLC systems that are used for the control circuit. So it means that power supply module is a very important module which can be connected with PLC. Switching to the next slide. Here you can see the central processing unit. These are the CPUs of PLC. So what is the function of CPU? The processor CPU is the brain of PLC. CPU is the brain of PLC. A typical processor usually consists of a microprocessor for implementing the logic and controlling the communication among the modules. So PLC has CPU. The function of CPU is to communicate with other modules, which may be counter module, timer module, and so on. CPU is actually a microprocessor or maybe microcontroller that control the input and output of the PLC. The processor requires memory for storing the results of the logical operations performed by the microprocessor. Memory is also required for the program EPROM or EEPROM plus RAM. EPROM means electrically programmable random read-only memory. EE means electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, and RAM means random access memory. So these are two types of memory which are used in PLC. The function of these memories are to help in the controlling with CPU and to store the data which comes from the input. So we will switch to the next slide. Central Processing Unit. The CPU controls all PLC activity, and it is designed so that the user can enter the desired program in relay ladder logic. The PLC program is executed as part of repetitive process referred to as a PLC scan. In the next slide we can see the PLC scan. If we switch to the next slide, here you can see the typical PLC scan cycle, in which you can see the input which can be read, and the input will be further execute the program, and the next slide and the next process is diagnostic and communication, and the fourth one is update outputs. So this is the PLC scan cycle. in which four steps are given. The first step is about read inputs, the second one is execute program, the third one is diagnostic and communication, and the fourth one is the update output. A typical PLC scan starts with the CPU reading the status of the inputs. Here you can see the inputs. The PLC can scan the inputs for the CPU. Once the program execution is completed, the CPU performs internal diagnostic and communication tasks. Next, the status of all output is updated. This process is repeated continuously as long as the PLC is in the run mode. So there are two modes in PLC. The first one is stop mode and the second one is run mode. Run mode is used to turn on the PLC and the stop mode is to turn off the PLC. Switching to the next slide, we have discussed the typical PLC scan cycle. So we will switch to the next slide. Here you can see the input output module. So here you can see the input module. Here you can see the normally close switch, normally open switch, normally open switch, limit switch, and normally open limit switch. Here you can see the field device power supply, the first wire which is low potential which has been connected to the input module, and the positive terminal has been connected with the one terminal of each input of the input devices, and the second terminal of the input devices has been connected to the input of PLCs. Here you can see this one has been connected with PLC, this wire has been connected with PLC, this wire and this wire. So here you can see the output of PLC. So the field device has been connected with power supply. Here you can see the symbol of motor, you can see the symbol of solenoid, you can see the symbol of indicator lamps. This one is a red indicator lamp and the second one is yellow color indicator lamp. So each device has been connected with PLC. This is the terminal of motor which has been connected with PLC. Here you can see also the connection of output devices. Each devices has been connected with PLC, and one terminal of each PLC has been connected to the power supply which is 220 volt AC. Switching to the next slide. Input output module. The input output system forms the interface by which field devices are connected to the controller. Here you can see the field devices. These are the field devices which has been connected to the input of PLC. The purpose of this interface is to condition the various signals received from or sent to external field devices. Input devices such as push buttons, limit switches and sensors are hardwired to the input terminals. Output devices such as small motors, motor starters, solenoid valves and indicator lights are hardwired to the output terminal. In the previous slide, you can see the input devices which are wired with the input of PLC, and here you can see the output devices which are wired with the output of PLC. To electrically isolate the internal components from the input and output terminals, PLCs commonly employ an optical isolator which uses light to couple the circuits together. Switching to the next slide. The external devices are also referred to as field or real-world inputs and outputs. The terms field or real-world are used to distinguish actual external devices that exist and must be physically wired from the internal user program that duplicates the function of relay, timers, and counters. So in the previous slide you have seen the field devices, and field devices may be the inputs or outputs. Switching to the next slide. Here you can see the operator interface which is used for the programming of PLC. So what is the function of programming device? A programming device is used to enter the desired program into the memory of processor. Handheld programming devices are sometimes used to program small PLCs because they are inexpensive and easy to use. Once plugged into the PLC, they can be used to enter and monitor programs. Both compact handheld units and laptop computers are frequently used on the factory floor for troubleshooting equipment, modifying programs, and transferring programs to multiple machines. So this operator interface is very useful in order to program small size PLC which are used in small industry. Switching to the next slide. Okay guys, thank you so much and thank you for your attention.